I was watching a video by Watchfinder's Andrew Morgan a few months ago in which he called a citizen watch the NJ0150 the Rolex DateJust killer. The reason for that is the citizen watch comes in dial colors that are very similar to the Oyster Perpetual models from Rolex in 2022, and the citizen watch features a date complication. I was on a trip to Asia recently where I happened to view this model and try it on wrist. The watch was exactly as Andrew had described. The only reason I didn't buy the watch was the crown was in the 4 o'clock position as opposed to the traditional 3 o'clock position, and that didn't sit well with me. Fast forward to my return back to the United States. I was at a mall looking for a pair of running shoes, and as I was about to exit the mall, I saw the Citizen Factory store. Like every watch enthusiast, a watch store means you have to go in. I was fully expecting to see an array of quartz and eco drive models, which is what Citizen sells in the United States. To my surprise, they also had their sister brands Alpina, Frédéric Constant, and Bulova. However, what caught my eye was in one of the display cases, they had a few, well, maybe just 4 or 5 automatic models, and this was one of them. This watch is the NP4080, a JDM or Japan Domestic Market model. This watch is a specification monster. It features 100 meters of water resistance, an all stainless steel construction, an automatic movement even though the movement does not hack, adequate lume around the watch, a day-date complication, a sapphire crystal, and a display caseback. The rotor on the watch is skeletonized on top of that. The watch retails for about 55,000 Japanese yen, which is around $430 to $450 at current exchange rates. I ended up purchasing the watch. I ended up purchasing it using the specification per dollar ratio, especially since this watch was on sale and could be had for under $200, and even with tax it was just about $200. When I got home and I had a chance to look at the watch in some more detail, I found this watch is the Homage of all Homage watches. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. Let's start with the bracelet. This bracelet is very reminiscent of the Patek Philippe Nautilus. Now, no one is going to compare a mass market machine-made citizen watches polishing to that of a Patek Philippe, but you can see where the design inspiration came from. Second, if you look at the crown is not round, but it has an 8-sided shape or a hexagon shape. This takes inspiration very liberally from the Royal Oak crown. The lume of this watch is very similar in color to Rolex's lume. You could even go so far as to say, well, it features a date complication, a day-date complication, even though Rolex's day-date complications at the 12 and 3 o'clock positions, this watch's complications are both at the 3 o'clock position. Further, the all stainless steel construction of steel sports watches is mimicked very faithfully by this watch. However, I will say all of the features of this watch do not come together as one cohesive package. As you can even see over here, the smooth dial is offset by crown guards, which I doubt this watch needs, and that hexagonal shaped crown. So overall, as a package, it certainly has the specifications, but the aesthetic didn't really go together, in my opinion. Added to that, I found the clasp on this watch was extremely cheap. So, is there a use case for this watch? Well, yes there is. On a recent trip, I was going to a place where I was not sure of the safety of that area and I didn't want to take any of my higher-end watches. So I ended up taking this watch and my trusty Casio Duro as I was going to be taking part in some water sports. For the evenings, this watch is absolutely fine, especially from a distance. Now, one good thing about this watch is no one is going to confuse this watch, even from afar, as a high-end watch, thereby enhancing your safety. This watch just looks fine in almost all situations, whether it's going out to a nice dinner or perhaps even a semi-formal meeting. This watch checks all the boxes, and that's what my use case was for this watch. Now, going forward, I think if Citizen fixes a few things with this watch, namely giving it a movement that hacks, changing out this hexagonal crown to a more rounded crown in there, and perhaps even changing the check pattern on the inside of this watch to give it that even purple or dark blue color throughout, this watch would be a formidable competitor to the Tissot PRX Powermatic80, a watch that retails for $650 in the United States. At the current price of this watch, even before any discounts, it undercuts the Tissot by about $200. If Citizen makes the changes to this watch and markets it well in the Western world, I truly believe Citizen will have a hit on their hands. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video and I hope you're enjoying the channel. I own all the products I review. Thank you so much for watching.